You're watching Country Church TV, and I want to thank Mike Culpepper for inviting me here to tell you about what I do and who I am. My name is Teresa Burleson, and I write and recite poetry that I've written that have been inspired by things that have happened in my life and things that the Lord has given me. The first poem I'd like to recite for you is called Grandma's Legacy. After Grandma's passing, it came time to pack away her possessions. It was a reminder that day that death is one of life's hard lessons. She was a good woman, loved by all and taken before her time. Now the ranch will be divided up into his, hers, and mine. While cleaning out a drawer full of long johns and woolen socks, I came across my name written on a brown cardboard box. When I took off the lid, her familiar floral fragrance filled the air. I no longer felt alone. It was as if she were standing there. Inside the box were just a few of Grandma's special things, like an embroidered hanky and her and Grandpa's wedding rings. There was an old black and white photo of Grandpa dated 1958 and a rusted Southwest cattle raiser sign that used to hang on the gate. And there, beneath it all, was her Bible, with the cover cracked and worn, the same one she would sit and read in the early hours of the morn. Inside it she'd marked pages and written notes here and there. Some scriptures were underlined and she'd highlighted the Lord's Prayer. Little scraps of paper were tucked between its old yellowed pages. Each one held a bit of wisdom that would last throughout the ages. There was a marker in St. John chapter 3, verse 16, and a letter with her prayer that I would come to know the King. In the days that followed, I read of Jesus and his miraculous deeds, and how he loved us all and he'd supply all our needs. And I learned about the devil and how he came just to deceive, but how Christ would give life eternal if we would just choose to believe. I found a treasure in the items that Grandma gave to me. Among the things in that box, she'd left her legacy. Who would think, packed in cardboard, I'd find a Grandma's love? Who'd believe that in that box, I'd find salvation from God above? This next poem I would like to recite for you, I wrote many, many years ago. One of the first poems I ever wrote or performed in public, and it's called My Hero's Clothes. I've got a hero, and he's a cowboy, but you can't tell it by looking at his clothes. But I think you'll recognize his name. He's someone everybody knows. You know him as a fisherman, and you know him as a shepherd for the sheep. But did you know that Jesus is a cowboy with sandals instead of boots upon his feet? He doesn't wear spurs, and a cowboy hat has never adorned his anointed head. But one day he stood in for us and wore a crown of thorns instead. He loves the land and tends the stock as only a cowboy could. And of course he lives by the cowboy code, as every cowboy should. If he gives his word, you can believe it, and he gives everyone a fair shake. But don't you think he isn't tough? If you doubt it, just ask that old devil snake. He rides the range tirelessly, looking for mavericks and rounding up strays. And even if only one of us is missing, he'll search and stay in the saddle for days. And when that lost one is found, he gently coaxes them back to the herd. Jesus can throw a loop, but he usually catches them with his word. Now don't think he don't look the part without his shirt, chaps, and jeans. He's wearing all he needs, for he is the King of Kings. Astride his big white horse, he can outride and outrope the best. You'll see, with all his power, it don't matter how he's dressed. My heroes have always been cowboys, like the old country song goes. Well, my hero is a cowboy, but Jesus don't wear cowboy clothes. But he did wear our sins, and he took them to the cross. Now he's back in the saddle, and he's looking for the lost. Thank y'all for listening. God bless you and have a wonderful day.